And let me first start out by introducing the one and only Courtney Collins, if you haven't met her yet.
Hi.
She's the Vermont Law School coordinator for the program, and one of these years I'm just going to drag her out and
Yes, you
experience it. Maybe when the kids are a little older.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm only here this semester, and she will be the one that will be coordinating the applications and the housing and all that stuff next semester. So thanks for showing up here. So I'm going to talk for about 15 minutes max, and then I'm going to turn it over to these four fine individuals who were in the class last year. And I think that this is the kind of experience that is best communicated by peer-to-peer rather than, I'll pontificate a little bit, but what I really want you to come away from this meeting is a clear understanding of what the class is like from a student's perspective. Because I want students that are really motivated and also understand what they're getting into, and I think that these folks will be able to convey that. So like I said, I'm going to talk for maybe 10 minutes or so. I'll take a few questions, but then I'm going to turn it over to them and I'm going to leave, so you can ask them anything you want. This program has been going on for, I think this is the 7th year, and it's one that we have decided over the years to limit the enrollment to 12 max. One of the persistent problems we've had is people signing up and then dropping out at the last minute, precluding other people. There's usually a waiting list. I've had at least 3 or 4 people tell me they couldn't make it today, but they're interested, and there's also some DL students that might apply. So we have more interest than we can handle, and so it's a selection process that is kind of random, I think, in some respects, but it's also based on your interest, your experience, your availability, and so forth. So the program is set up, it fits into the Vermont summer school curriculum. It's in session 4, I think they call it, the last of the summer program. You don't have to be, people go work a job and come out. You don't have to be part of the summer session, but if you are, it is session 4, and it runs during those 2 weeks on the schedule that the summer session runs. So we start, we usually have a barbecue Sunday night. You need to get into Montana by Sunday. Saturday's probably a lot better. And then we have an introductory barbecue and talk on Sunday night, but then class starts Monday, just like it does here in Vermont. And the program runs from Monday to Thursday, and then you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and we'll pick up Monday again. From Monday to Thursday, you are in, you're in the wilds. We spend the first week in the Clearwater National Forest of Idaho, in the Great Burns Study Area, which is a roadless area in the National Forest. We spend some time talking with Forest Service people about timber management. We talk a lot about timber management, and then trail management, ORVs, the roadless controversy, and we do that, experience it all firsthand. So the first 4 days, sorry, no cell phones. No, we're out of touch. We're back in the middle of nowhere, and that provides, I think, a unique learning opportunity. The second week is spent in the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness, which is south of Missoula, and we hike into there and set up a base camp and conduct class in there. So you are carrying your books in with you, or your papers, whatever you need, as well as your food and your tent and your everything else you want. We're self-contained. We're detached from the road. This is not camping. This is backpacking. So on the application, I will ask for relevant experience, and that's what I mean. Some people sort of fooled me, and I didn't ask enough questions about what you know, what's your outdoor experience? Oh, I've been camping every summer since I was 3 years old and all that. But I later find out, you know, as we're gearing up, is that they're car camping. And so I'm trying to ask more questions. And it's not like the person that has the most outdoor experience gets to go. And in some cases, exceptional cases, people have come that have not had that experience. But you know, that's a pretty basic prerequisite, because this is not a program that I'm not trying to teach you wilderness skills. I'm not trying to teach you how to backpack and camp and read a map. I need to have you have some level of comfort with that stuff, because you know, this is academic, not it's just not an outward bound program. So the basic structure is we have class early in the morning. Start at 8 usually, unless we have some people that complain mightily, and I'm not looking at anyone in particular here, but then we might start at 8:30, but we get up early and we have class. I mean, and it's, you can ask these guys, it's regular class. I mean, I'm going to ask you for, you know, the analysis of the case and what's the holding, and, you know, contrast section 7 to 9 of the ESA. I mean, it's school. But we spend usually a couple hours in the morning, and then we have the day where we will go on an optional exploration. We have a couple of mountains we can climb. There's one place that offers crystal hunting that's kind of fun, opportunities for fishing, things like that. They can talk a little bit more about that, but you know, that's we can tailor activities to the group, you know, in terms of, you know, how hard and fast we want to go, or you can sit back and camp and read, whatever. Then we usually will have class again in the evening, and sometimes even around the campfire. So you know, the ABA requirements have certain minimum hours of class time, and I try to meet that as best as I can. While we are hiking or scrambling, doing those sorts of things, we're also having class. I mean, I talk a lot about ecology. We have, at least in the past, have had my assistant instructor and her husband, who's a PhD geology candidate at Yale, we've got our own private geologist, which has been kind of nice. It's a law class, but there's a strong emphasis on natural history, because they really tie in closely with forest management. So the class ends on late Thursday, the second week, and for you to go, a lot of people, if they're coming all the way out to Montana, I encourage this, you know, spend some time out west. If you haven't been, go up to Glacier's about 2.5, 3 hours away. Yellowstone's about 4 hours. You know, for that reason, there is a final exam, but it's not due until 3 weeks after the course. Understanding that you're going to take some time to do something before you have to come back here. Let me just stop there and just see if there are any questions here. Yeah.
I've been listening, but so I wanted to be in the new master's program for food and agriculture, and so I was wondering if I have to do 3 months in the summertime. Exactly when am I going to Montana again? You said at the very end of that 3 months.
It's last week of July, first
Okay.
week of August,
In August, okay.
which should allow, I don't know, maybe not quite a full 12. It depends when you get out here, but yeah, it's set up like that so that people can have a summer job or an internship and be able to come to the class.
I see.
One thing that I do want to emphasize here is that, I mean, this costs. I mean, and some people, when they get to the end of the day and they have to actually write a check for a plane ticket, it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. And I want you to think about that. I mean, you know, the school doesn't pick up your airfare. In the past, students have stayed at the University of Montana dorm because it's a centrally located place. You can walk downtown, you can go swimming in the river, you can go rock climbing, hiking, everything right from campus. It's just a good place. And I've tried other housing arrangements, and it gets complicated. If you have friends or relatives out there, that's fine. You don't have to stay at the dorm, but that costs too, a couple $100. And so I really want you to think about that, because what we've done now is to require a deposit when you're accepted for the class, and you know, it's refundable if there's some extreme personal circumstance that requires you to cancel. But the idea here is that we just don't want people saying, yes, I'm going to do it, and then not. Yeah.
What are the key, I guess, cost items besides the plane fare that I would be investing in?
Okay, good question.
If I have, some basic.
Good question. So the plane fare, and which it depends where you're flying from. If you sign up and do it early, I think you can get out to for $400 or $500. If you wait until June, it's going to cost more than that. So there's that. The dorm cost. You have to cover your own food, but you're going to eat anyway. So you equipment. The school here actually is accumulating a pretty good equipment stash, and I don't know if they will rent it out. The University of Montana rents gear at a very reasonable price to the general public. So, that for some people is an additional expense. Outside of that, $6 to get in the hot spring. There's a few incidentals, but once you're there, we try to take pretty good care of you. We have a couple of dinners that we put on that the school provides for. The school generously provides a 15-passenger van, which we don't need to have individual cars, and then we can all travel together, and we actually stop and do some lecturing at various places. So I think getting out there and the housing costs are the big out-of-pocket, and then depending on how much gear you need or that you think you need and go out and buy, even though you don't need it, but it's a good opportunity to go buy a bunch of Patagonia stuff. Okay, any other?
Yeah, it's a 2-week course. Is it 7 days a week then?
No, it's set up on the regular summer calendar.
5-day a week.
Monday through Thursday.
Through Thursday, okay.
And then, so you have that middle weekend a lot. I don't know, these guys can talk about it. Some of them go up to Glacier. Yeah.
So does this credit count towards the dual, if I'm in the JD more, I just apply for the summer credit? Okay.
And it's a 3-credit class.
Okay.
Which is why, I mean, it's a lot of work, and at least I hope that these folks can pay that, in part because it is 3 credits instead of 2, and the idea being if you're going to invest your time and money into coming out to Montana, that we want to, give you a boost in terms of your credit accumulation. So. Yes?
2 questions. The 3 credits, are they considered off campus? You know how we have to have we can do so many hours off campus or with externships. Okay. And then my second question is a little weird, but every time I go out camping and I think about safety, does anybody bring like a sidearm or anything like that? You don't allow that? No, I mean actually guns are more dangerous. Okay. Seriously, with brings of bear spray, though we're not in grizzly bear country. Safety is a huge concern, and I'm probably I tend to rein people in. I don't let people go running around exploring and stuff. I take precautions crossing streams. Yeah, safety is a huge concern, but no need for a firearm.
I bought bear spray, but only because I've worked in bear country before and been charged by bears and moose, actually. More scary. And so, Professor, actually, I think you took it, because you can't fly with it, so you have to actually buy it out there. And it was never, I mean,
no bears.
I think we saw more wildlife on campus than we did actually out there. And having done the bear suite, they're not where Professor brings us.
Just curious.
Yeah, no, good question, good question. And I'm glad you brought up safety, because it really is, this is not a place where we're trying to push the envelope on that score. Okay, well, I would love to see applications from any and all of you. We haven't set the firm dates, but increasingly pushing it back, and I'll talk with Courtney about that to give you all time to plan. I mean, it'll certainly be in the early part of the next semester that we'll get applications and make decisions to put you all on notice. And then, as I said, there's a deposit and a deadline by which we want you to provide your travel information, again, to try to get people to commit. But yeah, I'm going to turn it over to these four, and feel free to email me with specific questions. Courtney is a great resource. She knows a lot about the logistics, how it works, and so forth. And yeah, thanks for coming. Very good. So, take it away.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. Just to reiterate what he said, it's a lot of work, but also a lot of fun. I guess my biggest suggestions would be to get the reading done before you go out there, or at least some of it done before you go out there. You don't want to be doing it by headlamp or 10 at night. It sucks.
Especially when you think it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, and I mean, there's gonna be people hanging around the campfire, and you just don't want to be doing your reading when you could be having fun. So try to get your reading done beforehand, and also thinking about taking a 3rd session class, really consider it. I was still working on my final, my 3rd session class while I was out there, which again, it was just work that I didn't want to be doing. I could be doing something else. Yeah, that sounds, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any questions that, like, since the professor's not here, you want to ask? Like, can you drive in the woods, or how heavy is your bag, or how many pages do you have to read? No?
I'll have you use your bag.
Yeah, that's a good.
Cool. Yeah, it totally depends. Yeah,
Good food.
I brought my own tent because I don't like sharing sleeping spaces with other people.
Both Libby and I did.
Yeah.
We're not sharers.
But I managed to cram everything into a 32-liter bag. So that was my food for the week: a tent, sleeping bag. My reading I wrapped in a plastic bag. Like, you can go small, or you could be Brett, who had a
It was a
40
thin
towel
bag.
bag. Not even.
It's a very large
It
bag.
just was tall. It just was tall.
What do you?
Whatever.
You were prepared.
What do you?
Actually, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff. It literally is just a tall, thin bag.
So you can, like, if you want to be super warm and bring a pillow, because you're only hiking in once, you can. But if you want to be lazy like me and only carry in the super light essentials, you can do that too.
I kept up with yours too.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
Would you? I mean, I know you said you brought food. What are your chances of actually getting food
None.
from the forest? None at all, really.
I wouldn't bank on it.
One, you have to do, you have
How
to get
would
a hunting permit.
Oh, you have
Two,
to.
during,
Yeah.
Yeah, and fishing too as well.
Yeah,
Sure.
both. And two, the second place we went did have fishing. We did have a little bit of fish that Professor and Claire caught, one of the other women. Two, during the last session for us was the last 2 weeks of July, not last week and first week. I don't know what this calendar year will bring for you guys, but typically hunting season does not open at that point in time. So you're
There are huckleberries though.
That's okay.
wait,
so there
wait,
are
wait.
fruits. And,
This year was totally, yeah, you're right there. Yeah. It's an anomaly.
so
An
foraging,
anomaly.
no hunting.
But you can fit like a week's worth of food in a gallon Ziploc bag, so yeah, you'll be good.
They make that kind where you just add water.
Yeah.
If you're lazy.
Space food.
Ian, what'd you bring during the
How was
second
that
week?
food?
It was good. It was really good.
What'd you bring?
I bought a steak.
That was the second week and you had cooked both of it.
Yeah, it was good though.
You can share food as well, so if you don't have a stove or you don't have cooking things, I mean, it's a good idea to get like at least utensils and things you can eat with. But there were some people in our class that sent out basically a group email that was like, I'm willing to bring my stove if other people are willing to split costs for propane and stuff. So you can split it so you don't have to carry as much. Libby and I, again, we don't like sharing, so we were hanging tough on our own.
You shared stoves.
Nope. Oh, she did.
Yeah.
No, I don't share. So that's an option too. You don't have to have everything on your own. You can also pair up with other people, and then that way you don't have to carry as much stuff in.
You do have to buy fuel up there unless someone drives. To the DL people, I thought that you guys really added to our class So I highly encourage all of you to submit applications. Professor was speaking about, specifically this year, one person had no hiking experience. She was from downtown Chicago. Great woman. She kept up with us. She submitted her application, and I don't know what kind of magic she worked on Tuholske, but she came out and she was like, I really want to do this. And I thought for a novice, she did well. If you have not hiked before, I don't recommend coming though. That's the one huge caveat. You're bringing a 35 to 40 pound backpack. Our normal bags, with law books, 20 pounds? 25 pounds? Maybe. I mean, you carry that for 5 miles up and down hills, so.
I will say that hiking wise, I wasn't sure what to expect because in law school, not many of us get a lot of exercise, as I'm sure you're all finding out. Or maybe you're not, good for you. So I was nervous about being super out of shape. Like I hadn't been backpacking since summer by the time I got there, basically. And it's really nice because we had a wide range of people. So there were like Ian and Libby who were trucking it, and like they're hanging out for like 20 minutes by the time some people got out there. And then there's like a middle group who's like just cruising. And then there are the people who are just like moseying, enjoying their time. And like everybody gets to the same place at this, like not the same time, but everybody gets there safely. So if that's like a concern for anybody, don't worry about that.
Are these, it's roadless, but are they trails that are already forged for you? Oh, okay.
Sometimes.
And are they popular?
Most of the time.
Are they generally popular? People are there? No?
Yeah, he likes to take us to like secret spots, which,
They're phenomenal.
yeah, like you'll go on a march trail for a little while and then you'll bushwhack, or you'll walk on stones across, an unmarked area and hang out near a river, or he hiked us up to a place, I think it's called Paradise?
Heaven.
Heaven, there we go. But yeah, we were bushwhacking for like 2 miles.
So there are machetes then.
No, that, yeah. How can you?
So this is mountain high alpine, and so what you're really looking at is pretty much a coniferous forest with a base of bare grass, which was beautiful this year. It's really low bushes, so you're not. I mean, you don't need a machete. You don't need, these things. Sorry, no. You don't need the large knives or, what you typically think of as going out into the backpack wilderness. But hiking poles are highly, someone had to borrow them quite often.
I was one of them to cross the streams because I was scared, but that's just me being a big wussy pants. I didn't want to fall down.
Yeah.
So it sucks being little there.
Water.
So Montana's like a pretty unique place. Like I'm from the East Coast and normally I backpack with tons of layers, rain gear, and like 4 liters of water. You don't need that in Montana apparently in the summer. There's obviously depending on how the season's been up to that point, but what we were told is like bring water the day you hike in, and then you're camped near water sources. You're usually hiking along rivers. The professor will tell you whether you even need to treat it or not. Half the time we didn't have to, and it was kind of cool being like,
I don't think I did at all, actually. Yeah, I didn't treat my water at all on that trip.
But there are people who did treat it and they're fine. You get tablets, you get, water treatment.
but there's plenty.
The other thing about that is that if you guys know the saying about the East Coast, wait 5 minutes, the weather will change. That goes for Montana, especially in the only bright side is that you can see it coming because it's called Big Sky Country for a reason. So, I mean, we were wearing in the middle of July, end of July, hats, long sleeve pants, and layers, both in the morning and at night around the campfire. And then in the middle of the day, it was shorts and t-shirt weather. I mean, we went swimming in alpine lakes, which was freaking cold. But, you really are packing for what would New England be like now through summer. So you bring like one pair of long pants, one pair of long underwear, up in the top. You bring 1 or 2 t-shirts, a bathing suit, and hopefully 2 pairs of socks. 1 in case of rain.
He'll send out a list. He'll send out a list of like the necessities, and then whatever you choose to bring on top of that is going to be just prince and princess stuff.
Except the food. The food is kind of, I mean, for I think every one of us, the food weighed more than any of our gear.
Well,
The one.
The one. Oh, the one.
we brought
Sorry.
in pony cakes the second week, so.
Yeah.
Eating gourmet out there.
One thing I just want to emphasize too is that like it's still a law school class. Our reading, well, you don't have to buy a textbook. What he did is on Twen. I think there were over 300 pages that we all printed out. I ended up with a stack this big and didn't understand how I was supposed to take a stack of 300 papers to the woods. So I went and got it bound, and it's thicker than a textbook. And so in 2 weeks, you're supposed to read about 40 pages a night. So you can try and read ahead, but at some point, being that far in advance, you're not going to understand what the topic is about. You're not going to totally understand the context. But it's a lot of work, and if you don't do your reading, then it's going to be miserable. Because there's only 12 of you, and if he cold calls you,
You're gonna
which he will, you can't run away. He'll just sit there and be like, Arnie, I will wait here while you read that entire case and tell me what the answer is. So like, yeah, it's a backpacking trip. It's super fun, but it's also a lot of work.
If you do choose to print and bind your stuff, I split it out into week 1 and week 2.
That was smart.
That way I could leave it just in the dorm room. And that worked out really well. Poor Libby did it all in one binder. So she had to bring it both weeks, which sucks because it's extra weight that you don't want to be carrying.
2 more things. Pencils, not pens, right? Because of rain. At least the day that it was raining, I couldn't write. And, sorry, 3 things.
Use a pencil, not a
Use a
pen.
pencil, not a pen. Just pens run, and tend to if it's cold, not write.
Notes.
Take notes.
Useless.
It didn't. Mine didn't write. Whatever. Get something to sit on. At least for those of us who did, we were a little bit more comfortable. And
Buy a Crazy Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great excuse to spend the money on a
Yeah.
Crazy Creek.
Don't get an inflatable bug bag.
No.
No, don't do that. That was a poor $20 spent. Do you guys have any other questions? What is that?
The final is, what is it, I guess, is it better?
It is hard.
Yeah.
And don't leave it for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, again, like you don't want to be working on it when classes start here because the due date is like after the beginning of the actual semester.
I think it was it's essentially like you're writing memos to the Forest Service or whatever he has in the prompt, but you're using all of your notes, all of your paperwork that you've taken in. So like even on the days when you're really tired from hiking or like reading, like take the notes because it's worth it, because you will come back from the trip and be like, oh, sweet vacation time, and forget about it, and then come back and be like, I took no notes. I highlighted things and I did not take notes. So make sure you take notes because he does ask pretty in-depth questions, and you will go in-depth to different statutes that apply to the area that you're staying in. But it's a fun final, and you'll have a really great writing sample afterward if you actually put the time and effort into it.
Didn't think of that.
Are you guys backpacking somewhere every day, or are you setting up like a base camp?
And there are little day hikes you can do from the base camp that are maybe different every day. And you're staying in the same place every night.
Or if you get sick like I did, you took naps every day.
What did you do like the first week? If you're staying in dorms or whatnot? You just
Like the weekend?
The weekend?
Yeah, we
We leave that up to you.
weekdays, like, you just-
The weekdays you're not there. So you get there Saturday or Sunday. Monday
Oh, I thought you were
you
only
leave.
able to work the second week. Got
No,
it.
you're in the woods
Sorry.
both weeks.
Yeah.
Cool, that's even better.
But when you're there, I mean, you get 2 weekends in Missoula, which
Yeah.
is also a really cool city.
Yeah.
Hang around there.
We leave that all up to you.
We walked a lot of places. Like we would just walk to downtown from the university because all of us stayed in the dorms. That was just, even though it's a little bit more pricey than like finding a couch to sleep on, it was way worth it just to all be in the same place. And then we would go like get food together. I convinced everybody to go dancing. Like we went floating. You can do whatever you want on the weekend.
You guys are more than free to email us too.
Yeah.
Courtney has all of our names and info. DL2.
You're not able to go twice, are you? There's no, you just don't.
What do you mean?
I think there's like double jeopardy or something.
Yeah,
Can't
none
take
of
the
you
same
guys
class
are
twice.
doing it.
Yeah. 3 of us are graduating.
This is the only thing like it, right? Is there another type of other not
No.
related to agriculture? I mean, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You can see.